Alright, so we're on to the next episode of Dragon Ball Super. We're on to episode 83 now, and this episode is called Form the Universe 7 Representing Team. Who are the strongest 10? I would say I enjoyed this episode quite a bit, actually. A nice cool down from the Zen exhibition match, and now looks like we're going to have several episodes of Goku traveling around gathering the various fighters. I think this is a good idea, and I think this will work quite well. I just am still really hoping that the actual Tournament of Power itself is not rushed, and I hope like it actually has time to play out, unlike the Trunks saga, which was just so rushed during the key moments. I hope here during the Tournament of Power they can actually kind of let stuff marinate and truly take their time. So the episode opens up with Goku and everyone coming back from the Zen exhibition match and arriving at Bulma and Vegeta's house. Many people are there at Bulma's. They're all preparing for Bra to be born. And we actually do get an interesting scene with Vegeta where we see that he is kind of nervous, and Bulma is kind of exercising in his training room, doing some exercises, hopefully to get the baby to come out. And you see Vegeta kind of thinking to himself, like, I have to think of a name worthy of Saiyan royalty. And it's like, oh shit. Yeah, I do like to see Vegeta toss out a couple more references to him being a prince. I don't know, I did always like that. I think that's one reason that moment where Vegeta was confronting Goku Black was so epic, because Vegeta-sama! Like, that shit was really good. So I do like the continued references to Vegeta as a prince, obviously. Now, Goku and Beerus, they sit down, they begin eating. Chi-Chi had prepared a lot of food, and the Kaioshin is kind of like, okay, well, we shouldn't really be dicking around right now. We gotta find our members, because as of now, they have Goku, Gohan, and Buu. That's 3, so they still need 7 members. So Gohan asks the Kaioshin, okay, well, that's fine. How many planets are there out there in Universe 7 that have mortal life, so we can maybe go grab, some super crazy strong guys that we are not aware of? Now, what follows next, I have to say I really do not like this, and I'm going to give a couple reasons why. Now, obviously, I would say that Dragon Ball Super has been following it's more of a sequel in my eyes to Dragon Ball than it is necessarily to Dragon Ball Z. It seems to be following a lot more of the themes, and a lot of the references and things are really hearkening back more towards Dragon Ball than Dragon Ball Z. I mean, obviously, you do have the Future Trunks arc, which was a true sequel to the artificial human / android arcs. That is true, but there's just a lot of things being taken from Dragon Ball. Now, Kaioshin mentions that they've lost planet, Sadala, or obviously it's supposed to be Planet Salad. Remember, that is, where Kabe is from in Universe 6. And obviously in Universe 7, that was the original home planet of the Saiyans. If you guys recall, Vegeta was very surprised when he learned that Planet Salad was still around in Universe 6, and he did want to go there. But Kaioshin mentions that they lost Planet Salad. They lost Planet Vegeta, obviously from when it was destroyed by Frieza. They lost Planet Namek. He specifically mentions that from when it was destroyed by Frieza. And he says there's only about 28 planets with mortal life. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit. First, shame on you, Kaioshin. That is pretty bad. Second, we have seen numerous planets destroyed with mortal life just in Dragon Ball Z alone. Now, again, I almost would have to fact check how many of these scenes were filler. I do know a lot of them are. Like, let's go to the Kid Buu saga, for example. If you guys remember, Kid Buu blows up the Earth, right? Goku teleports away with Kibito Kai. They head to the Great Kaioshin planet. In the manga, Kid Buu immediately copies Kibito Kai's technique and teleports and follows them to the Great Kaioshin planet. Now, in the anime, Kid Buu kind of goes on a rampage destroying countless planets before finally Goku and Vegeta power up and Kid Buu teleports over, to the Kaioshin realm, the Great Kaioshin planet, and begins battling them. Now, it's almost like Dragon Ball Super has kind of taken several filler scenes and almost kind of established them as, I don't really want to say canon. Canon is such a tricky word with Dragon Ball, but they kind of make it so that they had to have happened. I mean, also, look back at the Saiyan saga. Like, we saw Vegeta and Nappa destroy that one planet, Planet Arlia, and supposedly the Saiyans had been massacring tons of planets. Frieza's galactic empire has massacred tons of planets as well. This number 28 doesn't seem real to me. Like, it seems just completely made up for this arc, because unless, like, Frieza's planet trade empire, his galactic organization, completely wiped out all of the planets. Like, hold on, time out. Weren't they saying, like, okay, we're on Frieza planet, 255 or whatever. So Frieza had, like, hundreds of planets that were just empty. Like, I thought they were selling these planets. And I think this was in, like, the Japanese manga and stuff as well. It's not like this is, like, dub changes. So this 28 does not seem very consistent at all. I want to go check out, like, some other reviews. I want to see what people like Herms and Geekdom and a bunch of other people, I want to see what they're saying about this, because 28, this seems incredibly low based on everything we've learned throughout Dragon Ball Z to this point. I mean, the whole Frieza Empire, the fact that there's 28, I mean, we would have to take this, then, that Frieza massacred the entire universe, right? Like, he must have really dwindled it down. And this does show, like, Beerus kind of insults Kaioshin, like, this is what you get, you're not monitoring important things. And it's like, Beerus, motherfucker, you let Frieza and Buu run wild, and they actually completely disintegrated the universe. 28 planets? Like, think about it. Bulma and Krillin and Gohan, in their spaceship, it took them a month to reach planet Namek in a super advanced spaceship. So they had to have traveled past so many planets, and they're all just empty planets? Like, this is very odd. Just Dragon Ball Super, why they continue to do these really strange things. They create these problems for no reason. They did not need to say there's only 28 planets with mortal life, because that opens the door for so many problems with all the established things we've seen. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's keep going on. Now, Gohan asks if there's anyone specifically that could help them in the Tournament of Power from those 28 planets, and Kaioshin says that he doesn't observe their power levels, so he doesn't know. And it's like, oh my, listen, all right, I was on Kaioshin's side, but he really does make himself like a fucking pussy. Like, come on, man. And at this point, Elder Kai actually begins talking about how, there's going to be these other universes in the tournament. Our chances of winning are only going to be 12.5%. And there is a specific shot I want to see where it shows a bunch of competitors from the Tournament of Power kind of in, like, shadow. Like, we definitely see the trio of danger, Basil, Lavender, Bergamo. We see them. We see Jiren and Toppo. Now, this has happened before, but it appears to me that female Broly is in the shot with Jiren and Toppo. And this is not the first time that this has happened either, where female Broly is with these characters. So, as of right now, it does appear as if female Broly is coming from Universe 11, which is interesting because we were aware that the universe has formed pairs. Universe 6 and Universe 7 were a pair, so it made sense that there were Saiyans in both of those universes. But now, if there's going to be Saiyans in Universe 11, this opens the door for a lot of interesting things. And looks like, it's like, oh yeah, Broly being a villain Super Saiyan is incredibly popular. We need to go all out for that. And they bring in Goku Black, they're bringing in female Broly. Are there going to be other future villain Super Saiyans? It looks like there's a good possibility of that now. So they determine that they should focus their search on Earth for the Universe 7 team, which I guess explains why it's just a bunch of people that we're aware of. Goku suggests Monica, And Beerus still doesn't reveal the truth about him and just says, Monika's not feeling well. And Gohan's like, oh, damn, it can't be helped, father. If he's not feeling well, he's not going to be able to help us. And it's like, oh, Gohan, come on. So at this point, they start going over some possible candidates. Gohan throws out Krillin and Piccolo, and Mr. Satan wonders if Krillin is going to be able to help out since he quit being a martial artist long ago. But we know that not to be the case because we just had that filler episode. What was that, 6, 7, 8 episodes ago? Where Krillin kind of rediscovered his fighting spirit. Goku and Gohan then do a little image training where they have Krillin battling against Basil. Now, this is interesting. This is that scene that we saw in the next episode preview, and I do kind of like the context of this scene. Goku and Gohan, they're doing image training, and it seems like they're kind of like seeing how Krillin would fare against one of the fighters that they saw would be in the Tournament of Power. And it is cool because it does show Krillin use a lot of his crafty techniques. He uses a Kienzin, the Destructo Disc. He uses the Zanzo-Ken, which is the after-image technique. He uses several different techniques. The Teo-Ken, aka the Solar Flare. Tons of stuff showing that Krillin has his full array, his full bag of tricks. But based on the result of the image training, Basil kind of tanks all of these attacks and then uses his special technique and defeats Krillin. And Gohan is kind of like, doesn't look like Krillin is going to be suited for these type of fights. But Goku's just like, nah, Krillin will be fine. He'll be all right. You'll see. And it's like, all right. I personally do think Krillin might shine in this tournament, but we will see. So, here's the moment I've been waiting for. Gohan suggests Trunks and Goten, and Goku says that this is not just straight up a tournament of power. Since they need to, drop people off the side of the edge, this is going to, be based around a lot of strategy. And he says that Trunks and Goten are too straightforward, and it's not just about raw power. I do actually kind of like this now. For a while, I was really upset, and I was, kind of working on a video of why the fuck are Goten and Trunks not in the Universal, Survival Arc Tournament of Power. But now that I get the reason, I don't know, it does work better than I thought it was. I thought the reason was going to be given for Goten and Trunks, and I was going to stand up and be like, fuck this, are you kidding me? Hot, like what happened in episode 66 with Vegeta and, Rage Trunks' Spirit Bomb Sword. But I don't know, something about it did kind of feel right. And you go over the roster and it's like Krillin has a lot of tricky techniques. We know that Ten Shinhan's going to be on the roster. Yeah, he has a billion techniques. Piccolo's incredibly crafty. Obviously Majin Buu. In relation to Goku saying this, Gohan suggests Master Roshi. And, Goku says, yes, I believe he would be able to hold up well in the Tournament of Power. Now, the only problem with all of this talking of, it's not about raw power, is it really does just completely shit on all power scaling throughout the entirety of Dragon Ball. None of it kind of makes sense at all anymore. It's all in the garbage. It's sad because you need to have a proper understanding of how strong every character is so that you can have a proper understanding of what kind of tension is going to be there in these episodes during these moments. And, Goten and Trunks, at the very least, are stronger than Frieza on planet Namek. That's just the bare minimum floor baseline we can work with. So now that Master Roshi is going to be on the tournament, his power level has got to at least come up to that floor, right? So now all of a sudden, Master Roshi not strong enough to battle the Saiyans when they arrived on Earth. That includes Raditz, by the way. But now he's stronger than Frieza on planet Namek. Now, of course, I might be getting a little ahead of myself. We have to see what he does in the Tournament of Power. But everything is completely out of whack now. Dragon Ball is really making no sense. At this point, it's you either like Dragon Ball Super or you don't. Because you just have to accept a lot of the BS that they're throwing out. Next, they recommend that they get androids 18 and 17, the artificial humans. Now, it's interesting because the Kaioshin, he's kind of like, is this going to be okay? You know, they're artificial humans. And Gohan is like, yeah, they've just been modified on a cellular level to be superhuman. And Beerus kind of like twists his ears up and he's like, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. And it doesn't matter as long as they're strong. And it's like, okay, I guess for some reason the fact that they're artificial humans is going to be a problem for the Tournament of Power. That's not really elaborated on, but I mean, I guess since fighters can't have like outside like assistance like weapons and stuff, and I guess the androids themselves would count as weapons. A little weird, but that does happen. Now, they can't decide on a final team member because, you know, they got Krillin, Piccolo, 17, 18, you know, Boo, Vegeta, Gohan, Goku, Master Roshi, but they don't know who their last member is going to be. So Kaioshin leaves to go search, you know, the other planets to see if there is a fighter who can help them. Goku then says that, you know, they need to get sensu beans from Korin, and Whis kind of tells them, like, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to be allowed. So they're like, okay. Goku then explains to Vegeta a little bit of what's going on. He doesn't tell Vegeta that the Earth is in danger or the universe will get destroyed, but he does tell them about Toppo's strength and how he wasn't even sure he could beat Toppo in blue form. And you see Vegeta is like, Nani? Not even in blue form. And so, you know, Goku's like, all right, come on, you know, you're on the team. And Vegeta's like, nope, can't do it because of Bulma. And he tells them, if you guys really want me to be on the team so bad, you're going to have to talk to Bulma about this. So then a really weird scene happens where Whis goes up to Bulma and he kind of starts chanting this thing and, you know, uses his staff's power and, like, you know, a green light shows up and he's holding it over Bulma's stomach. And, like, this big light happens and you see something materialize in it and boom, Bra is just born right there. And just is in Bulma's arms. And it's just like, whoa, what the fuck? What the hell just happened? Whis just pulls Bra out of Bulma. It is very odd. I guess, you know, he is technically an angel. This is like crazy magic, but it's just like, what the fuck? That was a little unexpected, man. What are we getting into? Now, from here, there's not a ton to talk about for a lot of the rest of the episode. You know, we just get various things like Gohan telling Trunks that Bra was born, and they kind of discuss, you know, the merits between having a little sister and a little brother. You know, Goten talks about how Gohan trained Goten a little bit in the past, so if Trunks had a little brother, he could train with him. We see a funny scene where Bra is being held by various people, and, you know, Dr. Briefs holds Bra, and she smiles, and then, you know, Mrs. Briefs, well, no, because, you know, Briefs is supposed to be his first name, right? So he's called Dr. Briefs, but Briefs is not his last name. Bulma's family was never really given a last name. Like, more evidence of this is, remember in the Great Saiyaman filler episodes, Bulma was called Dr. Bulma. What's Bulma's mother's name? Is like Panchi or Pansy? Something along those lines. But their family name is not Briefs. But she holds the Bra, and Bra smiles, and then Mr. Satan holds Bra, and, like, she starts crying, and Vegeta's standing there with his arms crossed, and he just transforms into Super Saiyan Blue, and it's hilarious because Goku's like, oh, what's that? Is there an enemy? Like, I just thought that shit was hilarious. Like, Goku's like, oh, an enemy! Where's this enemy coming from? And it's funny, Yamcha shows up, too. And he holds the baby, and, you know, Bra starts crying, and, like, they do the joke again, where Vegeta goes blue, and then Yamcha this time is like, oh, is there an enemy nearby? Like, that kills me. So then we get a fan service moment, kind of, where Vegeta is holding Bra, and they're like, okay, time to, you know, determine a name, and it's funny, because Vegeta is like, oh, I've got the perfect name, worthy of Saiyan royalty, and Bulma pronounces that the child's name is going to be Bra. Now, this is actually super interesting. So I've heard there's been a big uproar in the community that, you know, her name is supposed to be Bulla, which is false. This clearly is, it's kind of like how they say Vegeta or Seru. Like, they don't just say Cell or Vegeta. Like, the way R's and L's and shit work in Japanese, it's clearly supposed to be bra, because you look at the pun with all of the Bulma family. Bulma, obviously bloomers, underwear, you got trunks, bra fits. It's just how it's supposed to be. And I think a lot of people are now confused because the English dub did choose to go with Bulla. Obviously, that's because they didn't just want to have a character named Bra. I think it's a similar thing why Mr. Satan was changed to Hercule. I really think her name is supposed to be Bra. It seems rather obvious to me. It sounds a little like Bulla when they're saying it, but the name is implied to be Bra, so that's what I'm going to call her. I try and use all of the proper names. Some of them, like Karidin and Krillin. Like, Krillin is just, it comes out way easier for me. And even though it's supposed to be like Saiyan, I just can't, not say Saiyan. But I try and use the proper names as much as possible. I am going to be referring to her as Bra, because I believe that's where her name is supposed to be. I understand why a lot of people are kind of like, nope, they're saying Bulla, it's Bulla, you fucking idiots. But then that's where people, kind of lose their shit. I saw some people, really going crazy, you're all fucking idiots, it's obviously Bulla, you can hear them say it. And it's like, well, that's not really the way it is, but sure. Bra is her name, that's what I'm gonna go with. So then at the very end of the episode, two things happen. One, Goku leaves to fly off, and he's going to go recruit Krillin and Android 18. Then Yamcha overhears what Goku says and that he's leaving, and Gohan explains the Tournament of Power to Yamcha. And we have a little comedy moment where Yamcha's in his head thinking, oh shit, okay, so, they're missing one fighter. There's 10 roster spots. Obviously, they're going to want me on the team. And he kind of thinks to himself, oh, I'll, politely decline at first. And then at the last minute, I'll show up like a true hero. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go home now. I urgent business. And he heads home. So I guess, Yamcha, I'm sorry, my boy. Even though you're, 25 times stronger than Master Roshi, I guess you you are not invited for the tournament roster. Damn, Yamcha.